Charm is a trap, and you have got to stop falling for it. So when I was a teenager, one of my first serious boyfriends was somebody I couldn't stand. When I first met him, I remember thinking, gosh, this guy's egotistical, full of himself, shallow even. I wanted nothing to do with him. My body told me, stay away. But in time and in experiences where we were put in the same environment close by together, something shifted, and not for the better. This person turned on charm, and they turned it on strong. And I, as someone who was inexperienced, unaware, with kind of a deep father wound, fell for it. So let's talk about what charm is. Charm is a mask that somebody who can shapeshift puts on in order to gain access or energy from someone. So I just want you to think about that for a second. Why would somebody do that? Why does somebody need access to someone else? Because if we think about access, what doesn't draw up for me is love. I don't think about if I need access to something or someone. I don't really feel like that's coming from a loving place, right? So in access, typically the lower impulses are what's driving this mask and projection. And this is something that comes on really strong, and especially in narcissistic personality types or highly insecure men. When they want something and either learn from others, learn from maybe their father, or have to create this mask because it was the only way, because of their insecurities, that they were going to get attention from the feminine, right? And going back to my story is, when relationships start, 'cause that turned into a relationship, when they start from a place of falsity, which is what a mask is, which is what charm is. This is, there is some charismatic tendencies some people have naturally. We're not really talking about those today. We're talking about the full-blown, very productive charm that you find in, men who really go after things they want, right? That relationship didn't work out. It became highly tumultuous because anybody, and including myself, right? I'm going to talk about that in a second. Anybody who's able to put on a mask in order to gain access to someone isn't coming from love, is going to attract someone who's likely in need and desperation to please and doesn't know themselves and maybe even used to giving. Instead of asking how this feels, what do I want? We have a tendency to give in and get trapped into a cycle, and often relationships, because we don't know ourselves, because we don't understand the nuances of what love is versus lower desires. And how many of us can talk or think back to relationships that started super charismatic and you were all in, you thought this person was clearly the one, or maybe they just were so charming and you loved how you felt around them, only to be abandoned, discarded, ignored, and left devastated. If that's happened to you, go back and think about how that relationship started. Because I can guarantee you, it wasn't slow, it wasn't honest, it definitely didn't speak from the heart. It started on falsities, a lack of solid foundation. And this is one red flag we're talking about in this video that we have to pay attention to. And we can carry this into our long-term relationships. Some of us have gotten into relationships for the long haul with people who can turn that on because they know how to get to you when they want something out of you. This absolutely happens in marriages and long-term relationships as well. And it's something that I've experienced myself. And it was really hard to take a long look at why I was feeling so empty. Why, when that charm turns on, I don't feel warm and fuzzies in my heart. Because often what it would lead to is a giving of myself in some way or another that left me drained. And that's the problem with wearing masks for any human, is the need to take someone else's energy, light, or power. That's foundationally wrong to who we are as souls. But because we come into this earth incarnation to learn the hard lessons, we forget, as many of us are in amnesia, what it's all about. We forget who we really are. And we need to come back into that alignment. Us women, we need to come back into this alignment. Who are we? What is important? Our hearts are the most important. And if people are going to come at us, they're going to come at us right. And we hold that bar. Right, ladies? We do. Come at us in love and vulnerability. Or don't come at us. Show up in truth. Or don't show up at all. Right? But that takes us to foster truth as well, and to understand why we overgive. Why give our bodies? Why do we give our bodies so easily? Because it feels good to be picked? In the long term, anybody here on this channel who listens to my videos, who's going to start listening to my videos, has likely been through exactly what I'm talking about and knows that it doesn't equal success. You feel drained. You'll feel tired. To what end? Do you want to repeat this lesson again in either another relationship or another life? Because yes, if we don't master this and we don't start shifting this, this is where family generational trauma continues over and over and over again. Because we have to come back into bringing our power and holding our power in our own bodies and our own hearts, and only giving when it's matched in truth and love. So this is a short video, but I just wanted to get to the core of paying attention to how people, and this can happen as well, of course, with friends and family. It doesn't always have to be romantic, right? Spot that. Pay attention to when people show up overly charismatically. There's something they're hiding. And pull yourself back. And if you don't know how to spot that right away, just at least in the moment, pull yourself back. And either later in the night or later on when you have the time, ask yourself, how does that make me feel in my body? Do I feel warm here? Or do I feel like it's accessing some part of my psyche that needs something in return or wants to give because it's what I learned as a child, my duty, role, or what I saw my parent do, and I am in repeat. We've got to stop the repeats. We've got to come back home to ourselves. And this is that call. So pay attention, ladies. And if you've experienced that, I want to hear about it. Share it with me, please. All right. Love you all. Take care.